Hey everyone, welcome to a Groundhog Day edition of our CPA News Update. I'm Bill Sheridan with the Maryland Association of CPAs and the Business Learning Institute. Of course, Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow this morning, which means I don't even know really what that means. What, early spring, I guess? Something like that. Either that or it was cloudy in Pennsylvania today. I don't really know. Either way, I think it's time to take a quick look at what's happening around the profession today. That's Tuesday, February 2nd, 2016. First up, a quick update on what's going on in Annapolis. Hearings have been scheduled in Maryland's General Assembly for House Bill 171 and Senate Bill 231, which would create a lower appeal bond cap for businesses with 250 or fewer employees. This is one of the key legislative issues that the MACPA is focusing on this year. The House hearing will be held tomorrow, and the Senate will hear testimony on February 9th. So keep your eyes out for more information about that. MACPA leaders and members will be on hand to testify at both of those meetings, and you can keep an eye on our blog, cpasuccess.com, for details as they develop. Elsewhere, a new study shows that accounting firms that prepare the taxes of companies they also audit tend to steer away from dubious tax deductions. The study found that tax returns prepared by companies' external auditors claim roughly 30% less in questionable tax benefits than do those prepared by other outside accountants or by the firm's own tax auditors, or officers rather. The study appears in the January-February issue of the Accounting Review. You can get details at accountingtoday.com. Economists at U.S. companies are less optimistic about the nation's economic growth, but are upbeat about wage increases for workers. That's according to results of a closely watched private survey. For the first time in 3 years, more than a quarter of those surveyed by the National Association for Business Economics said they expected economic growth to be 2% or less over the next 12 months. Still 70% of the respondents said that they expected the nation's total economic output, or gross domestic product, to expand between 2.1% and 3%, which would match the moderate annual pace of growth for most of the recovery from the Great Recession. Read more about that at cpapracticeadvisor.com. CPAs would be able to earn continuing professional education credits in increments of 1/5, 1/2, or whole credits for all instructional delivery methods except nano-learning under an amended proposal from the AICPA and the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy. Nano-learning would still be awarded only as 1/5 credit under the revised proposal. Nano-learning refers to information provided in short 10-minute increments that often covers specific topics, such as short videos that CPAs can view to help master certain tasks. You can read more about that on the Journal of Accountancy's website. Maryland's Democratic legislative leaders are proposing a matching funds program for middle-income and poor families who use the state's college saving plan. Under legislation supported by Senate President Thomas V. Mike Miller Jr. and House Speaker Michael Bush, families who deposit money into Maryland's 529 college savings plan would receive a matching annual donation of $250 from the state. The proposal is part of a larger package of legislative priorities aimed at helping working class families, and there's more on that proposal on the Washington Post's website. And it was not a good night last night for Maryland politicians in Iowa. Ben Carson, former director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins, finished a distant fourth on the Republican side of the Iowa caucuses. He'll continue his presidential campaign, but former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley will not. O'Malley announced the suspension of his campaign following a dismal showing in Iowa that effectively ended his long-simmering White House ambitions. O'Malley, who had started laying the groundwork for a presidential bid following his 2010 re-election as Maryland governor, finished a distant third on the Democratic side behind Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. You can read more about that on the Washington Post's website. And finally, if you have questions about healthcare reform, and who doesn't, you won't want to miss the Healthcare Reform Act, Critical Tax and Insurance Ramifications. It's a webcast scheduled for tomorrow afternoon, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. and it'll help you better understand the impact of healthcare reform so that you can describe to your clients how healthcare and paying for coverage will change in the future. You'll also discover how to use this information for tax planning purposes. So don't miss it. Get details and register by visiting macpa.org. That's it for today. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.